Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy, Hamburger. I don't know. Anyways, what's up, y'all? We're about to go through a little bit of mailbox here. Now, I had to record this video a couple of times. It didn't record every time. But I also need to let you guys know this. I'm doing a part 1 and then a part 2. This is a very long episode. So I was like, let's just split this into 2, man. Because 1, I was getting tired of sitting there. And 2, I just think it's just a lot to watch. So we're going to split this into 2 parts. See you guys in part 2. But enjoy part 1, man. So if your question wasn't answered yet, make sure you go put it in the post before I do part 2. Maybe you can get it answered. Thank you, part for watching. Well, enjoy the video. Happy birthday. I'm out. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are back with another Detroit Lions mailbox episode. Man, I don't know what episode this is, but this is the first one that we have done in a long time. Now, before we get this thing started, I got to give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer. Why this video will probably go a lot faster than the first one. That's right. I've done this video once, but the first one, man, I recorded the whole video. Well, I didn't record the video. That was the problem. I forgot to click the record button. I did the whole thing. It was about 40 minutes, and I forgot to click the record button. So here we are. Here we are, man. We're back. We're back doing this again. So yes, I've already seen the questions, unfortunately. But maybe I'll give you guys a faster answer than like rambling on like I do the original time. But you know what? Hey, it is what it is. Obviously, I can't give you something that's not recorded. So we're going to try this thing again. Let's get it started, man. Let's take a look at some of these mailbox questions, man. So as you guys know, I am DoseofDeon 2.0. And if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, if you have not, definitely do that. That way you guys can get involved in these, man. I appreciate hearing the feedback and questions, giving my takes here and your takes. These are just really fun to do. And obviously training camp starts soon, so hopefully that starts to fill our time because we haven't had anything really going on, and these have been great. So let's hop right into it. All right, the first question we have is from B-Trip, who says, what is your Kenny Golladay contract prediction? Will it be more than Amari Cooper's or other high-end paid receivers? Now, I've kind of looked at this a little bit to try to see what the other top paid receivers were. And basically, I think the highest paid is like $22 million a year. I think that's like Julio Jones. Michael Thomas, like 19.3. Tyreek's up there. Amari Cooper's up there as one of the top paid receivers. I think I think Kenny Golladay is one of those guys that is one of the top paid receivers for the future because, for one, he's earned it. I mean, he's earned another contract. He's earned a huge contract from the Detroit Lions, and he's playing at the level of those other top-paid receivers. Like, he's playing at that level. He's going to have to get paid. Either the Lions are going to pay it or someone else will. I know the Lions will pay him. I have no doubt the Lions will pay him. And with not knowing what next year's salary cap could look like because of everything going on, I definitely think that's one of the Lions' focuses. I know they have to pay some other guys as well, but I think they're really focused on making sure that they have money to bring back Kenny Golladay. Now, they may not do it right now because they don't know what their future looks like, to be honest, so they can be like, hey, that's someone else's problem if we get fired. So we'll see when they do it, but at least at this point, I think the Lions, Bob Quinn has money put back in case this happens, and I think that's why the Lions won't go sign a long-term deal to someone in free agency because they know they have to sign a guy like this and extend this guy back, but they may not have a lot of money next season because the salary cap could drop. So if that is the case, they want to have money prepared for a Kenny Golladay extension. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I do expect him to be paid as one of the top receivers. He's earned it. And if he puts up a year like last year and has 3 straight 1,000 yards receiving yard seasons after his rookie year, this dude is on a mission. I mean, that is like a great start. I mean, that's almost as good I think that's like a better start than a Calvin Johnson in some ways. I mean, this dude has played really, really good. He's played him out of his mind. He's been great since he's joined the Detroit Lions, and he deserves to get paid as one of the highest receivers. So congratulations, Kenny Golladay, man. I expect him to get some money. All right, let's keep this thing going. Like Chris Jones. Hopefully not like Patrick Mahomes, but you know what I'm saying. All right, let's keep this thing going. We got Mark up next who says, if we have a losing season, who would you prefer as the head coach and a GM? Now, like I said, man, I usually don't keep up with this well. I don't know who's even going to be available as a head coach or who would work, who wouldn't work. It's usually when that time comes, I'll start researching on guys that are available, and hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we don't want to do that. We want to spend our time on that and try to restart again. But obviously when that comes around, we may. I feel like at that point, the Lions would be trying to go somewhere else than kind of the Patriot ties. So they would probably, reset everything, which would be unfortunate because we brought all these players for the Patriot ties. So hopefully that's not the case. But in that situation, man, where we do get a new head coach and GM, I don't know who it would be. I feel like it'd just be someone different. It'd be different people from different places. I know Robert Saleh is some of the odd people were interested in before. I don't think he went anywhere. The 49ers DC. So maybe it's a guy like that. I really don't know. I really don't know where the Lions will go with it. Maybe they want to go for an offensive coordinator because they're like, okay, yeah, the defense coordinator didn't work out so well. But man, personally, I just really don't know. I don't know a lot of GMs and coaches, not off the top of my head, guys that could be available. I don't know who would be good for us. I'll just have to research that when that time comes around. But hopefully that's not the case, man. I really don't want to have to research that, dog. Can we just be successful? Like, I don't want to restart, man. I don't want to restart. Like, look, I know the first 2 years with Matt Patricia haven't been good, but to restart again is not where we want to be as a franchise. I'm telling y'all, that's not where we want to be. it's just not ever a good situation. It hasn't been a good situation with the Detroit Lions. So hopefully we are successful, and that is not the case. But good question, man. And then he says, and would you prefer Fields or Lawrence if we have a winning season stats versus average numbers? So at this point, man, I do like Justin Fields more, but obviously they have another year of college, and they could come out next year, and I'd be like, okay, definitely Trevor Lawrence. But I haven't watched tons of them still. Still have not watched tons of them. That's not a position I've been focused on. I don't want to be focused on that. Then he says, if we have a winning season, what stats is Stafford putting up? So if we have a winning season, Stafford's going to be putting up some numbers. Now, I don't know if he's going to be on pace for 5,000 again. I don't know if he's going to hit 5,000 yards because I do feel like Darrell Bevell is trying to make the running game a feature of this team. Like, he wants us to be a team that can run the football, and that's what we're known for offensively. So I feel like he's going to put up good numbers. He's going to be more efficient like we saw last year. He's a smart quarterback. The thing with Matthew Stafford is that people are always concerned, oh, he's 32, he's past his prime. The thing that I see with quarterbacks is that, yes, maybe physically he's a little bit past his prime. Maybe he will start. I don't think he is, but maybe at some point they'll start to get there. But I think when you see them on the field and their mental ability, how smart they are reading defenses, that's something that comes with time and experience. And I feel like we see Stafford get better and better. And with Darrell Bevell, he took it to another level last season with the pre-snap adjustments and everything like that. Matthew Stafford is getting better to me, and I feel like Stafford's going to put some great numbers. Just be more efficient. Just going to continue to get more efficient. Hopefully that leads to wins. So let's keep it going, man. Good question. Lions fan for life says, do you think that there's a chance that that our wide receiver group could change from Jones, Danny Amendola, and Kenny Golladay to something like Kenny Golladay, Quintez Cephas, Marvin Hall / Agnew by the end of the season? No, I don't see a scenario where that's the case, because I noticed what you left out here is Marvin Jones. And I don't see a situation where Marvin Jones is not a Lion. The only place that could happen is if the Lions are literally 0-6 to start the year, Marvin Jones gets traded at the trade deadline. But in that case, I don't even know if it would happen at that point, but that's really the only situation. There's no reason for the Lions to trade a guy like Marvin Jones, because I feel like if you're that bad, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn are going to get fired anyways. They may not worry about it. So for me, man, when I look at this, there's no way that Marvin Jones is not on the Lions by the end of the season. He should be here. That's what we do well. Let's keep it like that. Let's continue to do well what we can do well, right? We don't know about the defense. We don't know about the running game, but we know we can pass the football. Let's not mess with that. Let's keep it, and hopefully we can build the other things around it. Let's keep what we do successful. Hopefully that is not the case. But as you're saying here, Danny Amendola to is something like Quintez Cephas, Marvin Hall, or Agnew. I could see Amendola take a little bit of a step back on the offense. Obviously, in this situation, we're assuming there's no injuries. If there's injuries with Marvin Jones and Danny Amendola, then yes, someone else is going to have to step up. But assuming there's no injuries here, a guy like Quintez Cephas, Hall, those guys could get a little bit more of a role. I could see those guys hop in, get more snaps at the slot, stuff like that, especially Cephas and Hall. Don't know about Agnew, man. I just don't see a huge role for him offensively. I don't see it, especially this season. But good question. That's way different than what I've seen before, so good one. Lions defense ranking, I think, is 13th accurate. I think that's accurate. If you're looking at scoring, like points allowed, I would say 13th pretty accurate. What is your favorite meme? Bro, I'm telling y'all, I love SpongeBob memes. Like, I don't know, like, types of memes. Like, oh, yeah, this is my type. Like, oh, that's the kind of meme I like right there. If it's a SpongeBob meme, though, usually I'm laughing, bro. I don't know what it is. I laughed at the legend himself, SpongeBob SquarePants. So if y'all want to send me some funny memes, you're like, oh, I want to make this dude laugh. Send me some with SpongeBob. I'm sure I'll laugh. I don't know, man. That's just how I am. I haven't grew up. I don't know. Lions fan for life 18 again says, who has the best chance to become the next number 2 guy next to Kenny after this year? With Jones and Denny on 1-year deals, so is Kenny. I think Agnew is the dark horse, but Cephas and Hall could make most likely this play. I could see that. I think Quintez Cephas is a good chance to play outside. I just think Marvin Hall is just a little bit too small. Cephas, maybe. It really depends on how much they really are all about speed, like straight line speed, but I could definitely see him playing outside. I think he has the talent to do it. I think Anquan Bolden took a pretty big role when he's here. And this guy's just even younger, and I think he could be, more talented with his hands, stuff like that. So I feel like, Quintez Cephas could be that guy. But if I'm being honest, the guy that I think has the highest chance to be the number 2 wide receiver after this season across from Kenny is Marvin Jones. Either that or a draft pick or a new player we sign. But on the team right now, I would say Marvin Jones again has the best chance, because I can see the Lions trying to bring Marvin Jones to your back and keeping that duo together, especially if you see Marvin Jones not take a big drop off this season. I mean, sure, he may not play on all 16 games, but if he plays like he did last year and the year before, then yeah, Marvin Jones could definitely be back again. He may not be super expensive, and to keep that duo together, something that the Lions are probably going to want to do, especially if Matthew Stafford balls out next season, Lions are successful. They may be saying, let's not change this up. Let's keep riding it just a little bit longer. So maybe it's a short-term deal, but I would say, based on the odds, I would say Marvin Jones is the best chance to be number 2. Either that or it's a new drafted player. But, I mean, drafting a wide receiver in the first round, I don't think you have to do that. I think you can wait till the mid-round. So I would say currently on the players on the team, I'd go with Marvin Jones still. Do you think the Lions will sign any? But I can see Quintez Cephas and Marvin Hall moving to the slot. I can see Danny Amendola. I don't think Danny Amendola gets an extension after this year. I just don't see that. Do you think the Lions will sign any free agents? They could. They could. It just won't be anytime soon. I don't think they do it until August. If they sign anybody, I don't think it's till August. But if I had to guess, I would say yes. It just may not necessarily be the guy that we want in Everson Griffin, Marcus Golden, Jaden Clowney. It'll probably be, Joey Bob. Joey Bob, the special teams man. No, I'm playing. I don't know who Joey Bob is. But seriously, man, I think, there's going to be moving pieces. I just don't think it's anytime soon. The Kansas City Chiefs will have $112 million spent 2020 offseason spend. Oh, I read that. I said spend twice. How did that happen? How many great players would take a pay cut to play for them? I would say a lot, man. I mean, when you're successful, players want to be there. But there's also, I think, a balance between a player wanting, like as a player, you're looking at it saying, okay, I can be successful and go to this team, but I also want to have a bigger role. And if I go here, maybe I won't have a role. But the thing with the Chiefs, man, if they're successful the next couple of years, teams will take pay cuts to play with that team. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. And I just think that's how it works across all sports. Now, $112 million, I don't know if that's set in stone, though, because of the salary cap. Like, we don't know what it's going to look like in 2022. But assuming, it's 112, whatever, that means compared to everybody else, players will take a pay cut to play for them, and I think that's just how it is with successful teams, man. That's the benefit of being successful. It's kind of like college recruiting. If you're successful, you may have a better chance to land that player just because they want to make it to the next level. If you're successful in the NFL, player may take less money to play for you just because they want to get a ring or something like that. So, yeah, I think so. If we change head coaches next year, what rookie this year has the best chance of staying next year? Man, I would say for the most part, their first 4 rounds, I don't see any of those guys going anywhere, even if we have a new head coach. I mean, it'd be weird to get rid of Okudah or Swift or one of our top offensive linemen that we brought in. Maybe Stenberg or something like that. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I mean, maybe Huntley, Huntley, those guys, Cornell, those guys may not be here. They may not be here this year, but I don't think they may not be here with the new head coach. But for the most part, man, most of the guys should be back, I would say, for the first 4 rounds, basically. So, yeah, I would say most of those guys will be back even if there is a new head coach. Which team do you think has a better chance of winning Super Bowl, Lions or Browns? Come on, man. You know the answer to that. You know the answer to that. It's the Browns. No, I'm playing, bro. I'm playing. You think I would ever say that? Heck no, it's the Lions. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's go. Calm down. Which Okwara brother has the best Lions career? I've been thinking about this one. I like it. I have a lot of high hopes for Romeo, and I think we saw him really good in 2018. But I feel like we saw how great he could be. And I think with the Lions scheme, I don't necessarily seeing a guy like Romeo maybe ever having the biggest role defensively. But again, he could. I just think he's going to be rotational on that defensive line. That's how it will be. And I think he's going to be good with a guy like Trey Flowers. But from what I see so far, man, I haven't seen Julian in the NFL. But I feel like Julian could be a guy with a role now and for the future that's locked up. He could be the next Devon Kennard. Devon Kennard put up numbers. So in terms of stats, I'm going to have to lean towards the side of Julian. But, man, Romeo, he's talented. He is an athletic freak. And if he works on a few more pass rush moves and just, polishes that up a little bit, this dude can be really good because we've seen flashes. I just think he needs a little bit more variety with his mix. I think that was a big problem last year. I mean, sure, the inside didn't help him at all, but he didn't have tons of variety last year. He's very athletic, very strong, but he just needs to work on a couple more technique type of moves. Next up, what do you think the Lions' floor and ceiling is? As a record, I would say the floor is somewhere around 5 to 6 wins, probably 6-10, 5-11, to be ungenerous. I just don't see, Stafford's healthy. I don't see them being any worse than 6-10. I really don't. I mean, that's just, if we're assuming Stafford's healthy, I just don't see it happening. Obviously, if Stafford isn't healthy, then obviously things change. But their ceiling then, maybe 14-2. I know it's crazy to say, but that's the very ceiling. I mean, that's literally the best you could be. So I would honestly say 16-0 because that's the best you can be. And their floor, man, I just don't see them going under 6 wins. I just don't see it happening. I don't. With this Stafford that's healthy, I don't see it. Even if your wide receiver is Chris Durham, I just don't see it. Chris Durham wasn't that bad. I like Chris Durham. I missed that guy. Where'd he go? Where's Chris Durham? I don't know. What is your comeback player of the year? I would say Carrion. I think Carrion's gonna shock some people. Man. People writing him off ever since Swift came in, and I don't think he's happy about that. Well, clearly he's not happy about that. So I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder all of a sudden. You whack, bro. I think Marvin Jones is our best receiver. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't say anything, but that's cool. I mean, hey, when he's healthy, Marvin Jones is arguably the best receiver on the team. But, man, if I'm taking one or the other, I'm taking Kenny Golladay because he's younger, doesn't have the same injury issues, knock on wood so far. So, yeah, I'm taking Kenny Golladay. Come on, man. He seems just to be consistent as heck. What do you think of our offseason signings so far? Did it upgrade in places? Yes, our offseason signings were really good for us. I loved our offseason for sure. Kenny Galladay's best receiver. Okay, I think he's talking to him then. Lions fan 3323. I did not mean to click that. He says, what does Jamie Collins bring to the table? What does Danny Shelton bring to the table? What does Duron Harmon bring to the table? Interesting topic you bring up there. Now, let me just say, Lions fan, there are videos on every single one of those players. So if you want a full film breakdown, I literally have a video on every one of those players and more. But to just give you guys a little bit of a quick summary on what they're going to bring to the table, let's do it. First off, Jamie Collins. What does Jamie Collins bring to the table? Well, don't listen to the media, because the media says the Lions are just replacing. Well, tell me who Jamie Collins replaces then. Thank you very much. You can go now. You can go now. You know what I'm saying? Like Stephen A, keep on walking, man. I don't know if Stephen A said it, but that's who I thought of on top of my head. All right, Jamie Collins brings something that we didn't have. Devon Kennard isn't Jamie Collins. He was not Jamie Collins. Jamie Collins is a player that we haven't had in a while. And that is a linebacker that fits in the scheme, in that Patricia scheme, that can help in coverage a ton, and he's got really good versatility. He's got the versatility to play and excel at every position, but especially in the inside. We need an interior linebacker that's smart, that's a veteran that we really haven't had in a while. We haven't had like a good veteran linebacker. And we also need a guy that can help in coverage. That's his biggest strength that we need in this defense. It's awareness on the field. Not necessarily saying, I'm going to line you up with dang Michael Thomas and lock him up. That's not what it is. It's awareness over the middle, man, to jump on slam routes, to take those away, to make a quarterback second guess and be like, oh snap, that's not there, and then all of a sudden he's sacked. That's what he brings to the table. Now, what does Danny Shelton want to bring? Well, Danny Shelton brings us an upgrade at the defensive tackle position. And I know people will say, well, you just replaced Snacks Harrison, all right? You didn't get better. But the problem is you did get better, because even though Snacks Harrison is a more well-known name, Damon Harrison, and many people think of Damon, and they try to think a couple years ago and say, well, this is one of the best run stuffers in the league. He couldn't have been that bad last year, but the thing is, he was that bad last year. He was not that good for us last year, and Danny Shelton is an improvement for now and the future. The dude's younger. He's coming off his best season. He fits in the scheme, which we know Snacks Harrison complained about the whole time, even though he signed an extension, so I don't know what he's talking about. And then Duron Harmon makes Tracy Walker and the whole secondary better. Gives us a veteran, a closer in the back end that we haven't had since Glover Quinn. So that is what those three guys bring to the table, man. I'm just going to leave it there. Now let's keep this thing rolling. What is your favorite Lions moment in the last 3 years? My favorite Detroit Lions moment in the last 3 years. Okay, so 1918. That's tough. I can't really think of just a moment. It was nice to beat the Patriots. That was hype. I love Monday Night Football games. I would say the best one, though, I had picked from is pretty recent, because he's for me to remember. And that would have been week 2 last season, when we beat Chargers, because I was at that game. It's just a really good environment when you're at the game. It's hype when you win. And, I think that was one of the first ones I saw. It was the second one I think I've seen in the regular season. The other one's not with Jaguars. But, they won the game. Matthew Stafford to Kenny Golladay for a touchdown was hype. And so was the Darius Slay interception in the end zone. I mean, they closed that deal. I was like, I kept telling T. I was telling him the whole game. I was like, because Keenan Allen was eating. Let's be honest. Keenan Allen was eating. I was telling T. I was like, T, Darius Slay, big play Slay is going to make a play. He's big play Slay for a reason. Even though he's going now, at the time, that's what I was telling him. And boom, they throw it to the end zone interception, man. I'm hype as heck. Very great experience, man. I actually have a little bit of video on my channel here, so that would be my best one. What game will be the toughest for the Lions this year? Definitely the Saints game. I don't think the NFC North one, maybe the Vikings one will be tough. Oh, NFC North games are always tough, but I think for the most part, like just a specific team, I think I got to go with the New Orleans Saints. I just think they're all around a good team. They have problems on offense and defense. They have playmakers on both the offense side of the ball that scare you and the defense side of the ball that scare you. Now, will the offense or defense be the difference maker? Definitely the defense. We know the offensive score, they're going to put up points. Defense needs to give us a couple of extra possessions. And what specific player? Well, the linebacker group as a whole, I would say. I mean, mainly specifically Jamie Collins, but the group as a whole needs to play well. Obviously, secondary needs to play well against Michael Thomas, those guys. But to take away a guy like Alvin Kamara and hold him in check is going to be huge, because that's a big part of that offense. And he's on his contract year as well. To take him out of the game and play really well against him will hurt the Saints for sure. So I would say that is going to be the toughest opponent next year. Now let's keep this thing going. Do you believe that we sweep the division, and what teams in our division? I don't know if we'll sweep the whole division. I mean, 6-0 is tough. I don't know the last time we've done that. But I do know this. If there's one team that I have to bet that we can sweep, it is the Packers. That's the Packers, man. The Bears, I think, can beat us on the road, man. I just think they can. Maybe even at home. Maybe it'll surprise you, because they get a lot of pressure. They're scary. And the Vikings are really good all around. I know the Packers are good, but I'm not worried about the Packers, man. I think we got their number, man. I think we can beat them both times next year. Do you think we will trade Marvin Jones? We better not, Bryce. We better not, man. Dose, what's up? Why do you think people sleep on Stafford? Here's why people sleep on Stafford. Let me make it clear. Stafford's great. We know he's great. But the NFL doesn't know he's great because he's clouded by a lot of things. One, Matthew Stafford is not Russell Westbrook. Matthew Stafford is not Odell Beckham Jr. Matthew Stafford is not Baker Mayfield. He's not on commercials. Matthew Stafford is not loud and obnoxious. Matthew Stafford does his job, and he does it at a high level. But because he's quiet and he does his job, he doesn't get a lot of recognition. Now you may be saying, well, what about Tom Brady? He's not loud. Well, the thing is, Tom Brady was on New England Patriots team that was successful year in and year out. The Lions historically have not been. They have not been successful year in and year out. And with Stafford, they have not been. So those two factors are the reason we don't hear about Matthew Stafford, and that's why he slept on. That's why people overlook him so easily in the division. That's why people overlook the Lions in the division, because he's good. We know he's great. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That is why, all right? You hear more about Baker Mayfield than you do about Matthew Stafford. Think about that for a second. Just think about that. That's exactly why. Let's keep this thing rolling, man. What do you think the Lions having the second lowest Madden 21 rating at 77? It's garbage. I mean, come on, man. Not even that on its own. Let's be real here. Like I just talked about why we're disrespected, it's the same thing because they take player overalls and no one knows about the Lions offense. They don't know how great we were. The injury obviously hurt, but offensively last year, the fact that we have a lower rating offensively than the Bears is blasphemy. To take a word out of Stephen A. Smith's book, it's terrible.